We needed the goalkeeper community to submit a learning opportunity, a mistake, have you. And we wanted to get our guest, Adin Brown's, his feedback on that mistake. And this is an exceptional mistake, and I mean exceptional in terms of it makes you cringe, but it also makes you warm and fuzzy inside at the end. And they all don't end like that, but at the end of the day, it's a learning opportunity. So do you want to introduce our development opportunity?
Yes, so the video was sent in by Steven Torres, and he actually went viral on social media through this particular mistake. And we wanted to feature him again today because we think that it's a great learning opportunity for Steven and other goalkeepers that may be in similar positions, and to have Aidin give his opinion on it and possibly some coaching moments for it. Here he comes.
I love it. I love it.
You won't need any lunch after eating all that turf. All right, Aidin, what do you think of that?
Well, I think back line's very high, so Steven's doing a really good job of maintaining a very high line. But I think, in my opinion, it's the right decision. But I think he just needs to be a little bit more patient with that bounce. You know, it looks like he's playing on turf, and you don't know how that bounce is going to react. So I think if he's a little bit more patient, he can maybe react a little bit different and get to that first ball. But what determination to get back and make a good recovery and get back to that second ball. Fantastic.
I have more gray hairs after seeing that.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, obviously with the enthusiasm to come off his line and misjudging the bounce of the ball, I think a lot of keepers there would have just been like, oh, you know what, it's a goal. Like, I'm just going to trudge back to my line. But for him to get back up and sprint full speed and make that save, I mean, just redemption, you know?
So now we have the opportunity to hear Steven's reaction. So because of this was done in the past, Steven has provided us with a video. So let's watch Steven's video and understand what he was thinking at that time.
Absolutely.
Hi guys, this is Stephen Valencia Torres, the goalie from that save. And some thoughts about it are just keep going at every single play and never give up, because you don't know what could happen at every single play. So just go at it and see what's the outcome.
Aidin, now that you had a chance to see Steven's exceptional, colossal mistake, but even better recovery, what are your thoughts about the experience? What would you have for advice for him as he's approaching the training for the next week?
I would just say, make sure you're a little bit more patient. I think he's got all the right ideas. I think it's the right decision. I just think he's got to be a little bit more patient on the skip, and on surfaces like that, any surface for that matter, you just don't know what's going to happen. Is it wet? Is it dry? Is it going to hit a wet patch? You just don't know. So I would say just maybe being a little bit more patient on that bounce, and then reacting once you see where that ball's going after the bounce. So, but again, great determination to get back, and I mean that just sums up goalkeeper in my opinion, because you never know what's going to happen. You don't know if your player's going to sprint back, make a goal line save, and then you have to come back and do something to affect the play. So, excellent job in terms of not giving up on his part.
Coach Paul, any thoughts?
Yeah, just to reiterate what Aidin was saying, I think that patience would be the key there. For him to come off his line that far and want to make the play to clear the ball, that's a positive. But the timing was just slightly off. So for Steven, it could just be a couple of training sessions on working on through balls and developing that timing of when to come out and judging the flight and the bounce of the ball, especially on a turf surface, because everybody knows it's different between turf and grass when it comes to the reaction of the ball. So certainly, the redeeming thing about the whole incident is definitely him getting back and making the save. So.
Oh yeah, way to go from zero to hero instantaneously. And I couldn't move my hip that high, so my leg would have fallen off at that point in time. It would have just gone like this. That would have been the end of it. I mean, we see pros, have these same learning opportunities. I mean, just recently we saw Bernd Leno get sent off from Arsenal because of a similar situation, right? He was playing a higher line, ball played through, and he misjudged it. And rather than the ball passing, he kind of threw in an arm at it, and got sent off. So it happens to the best.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you think about this, but what I would say is, like, as a goalkeeper coach, if he's making the right decisions, if his vertical positioning is in the right place, maybe, as you said, Aiden, we work on reading that ball, but utilizing different tools to clear it. Is it his body? Is it his head? Is it his chest? And as goalkeepers, if we are going to play that line, that higher position, we now have to be accountable to play our head, to play our instep. And I started playing in the 80s when you could pick up a ball. So playing the ball back to me would be, a liability in many respects as well. So, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I think you make a lot of good points. By the way, I love how you call mistakes learning opportunities, because that's exactly what they are. I mean, that's something I preach all the time. Name one goalkeeper in the world that hasn't made a mistake. There isn't one. There absolutely isn't one. So, like you said, they're learning opportunities. That's exactly what they are. They're chances for you to get better and learn from your mistakes and move on. And for me, it's super important that you do move on, because say you're in the 5th minute of a game and you're playing 90 minutes and you make that mistake, you can't dwell on it, because if you do, then you're going to continue to make mistakes over and over and over again. So you need to put it in the back of your mind. And then once the game's all said and done, you can go back and analyze it, but you just need to move forward once you do make that mistake. And I'm speaking of a game situation, in terms of training, one thing I love to do is anytime one of our goalkeepers makes a mistake, I'll just say next one, just so that they can move on as quick as possible to what's next, because that's exactly what it is. The biggest moment after a mistake is that next touch for the goalkeeper, and that next touch or next save or whatever it might be, it has to be solid. It has to be spot on, because you can't let it affect you. You really can't. And as you saw from Steven, he didn't let it affect him. He got right back up. He got himself back in the goal, and he made the save. He made the stop, and he redeemed himself, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, it's not just because all of us are going to drop crosses. We're going to misplay a breakaway, whatever. It's how you respond from that mistake, because as Steven points out, you can make the save after making a mistake, which is the most important. And you may have, 89 other minutes to play after a mistake. So you got to stay in the present. As a player, was there a ritual, or was there a phrase that you would say to recover from mistakes? How did you overcome in-game mistakes?
So I was very lucky. I grew up playing 4 different sports in high school, and I played volleyball, and for me, the ritual, I was an outside hitter, and you'd always go up and hit the ball, and sometimes you get stuffed, sometimes you'd make the play and slam it, or whatever you call it. But for me, that what taught me, don't worry about what's happened in the past. You can't affect the past. What happens in the future, that's what you can affect. So just make sure once you get stuffed or whatever, you move on from it. The next one is yours, and so that's something I took from my childhood, through my professional career of goalkeeping, where, once I made a mistake, I was making sure that I wasn't going to make that second mistake, and it's tough, man. It's really tough, because as you're sitting there when the ball's on the other side of the field, you're definitely dwelling on it, but you definitely can't let it get to you, or else you're not going to be playing professional soccer for much longer.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good points. Well, we want to thank Steven for sending in that learning opportunity again. Like, we don't want to call it a mistake. It is a learning opportunity. It's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. But
That was beautiful. That was just beautiful.
I do graduation speeches from time to time as well, if anyone needs one. But, you know, for sending in that learning opportunity and giving Keeper Stop and Aiden a chance to review it and go over it, we're going to give Stephen a $25 Keeper Stop gift card so that he can buy himself something and make himself feel better about that learning opportunity.
I'm going to bump it up. It's 50.
Are you going to do 50?
I'm the guy who pays the bills. It's $50. If you send us in a
huge
learning opportunity, I'm going to give you a $50 gift card to buy whatever you want, wherever you're from. We need these learning opportunities as a community to grow together. So thank you.
Very generous of you. So if you do want to submit a learning opportunity to Keeper Stop, again, you can email it to save@keeperstop.com, or you can send it through our messaging system on Instagram. And if you are lucky enough to get featured, again, you'll get a $50 gift card.